Okay guys, it's Naru, and I'm bringing you some more Halo Reach gameplay. This is actually my first critiquing gameplay, and it is for legit rage quit. And there was two things I wanted to say before I actually got to the critiquing, and one was that I've watched this gameplay 3 times through, and then a 4th time while I was capturing it to my computer, just to make sure that I've got everything that I want to say and I haven't missed anything. And the second is that I'm going to critique this gameplay as if he was playing against another full team of 4 of equal skill. He's not, but legit said that he was playing in a full party, so I think this is the best way to do the critiquing, so that way the next time he does play with a full party against another full party and he gets in the same situations, what I say might help him make his decisions better. Okay guys, the map is Boardwalk, and in any competitive match in Boardwalk, no matter which side that you spawn on, you want to get control of the rocket launcher at the beginning of the game, and Legit and his teammates do that. Legit himself picks up the rocket launcher and gets a kill. The one thing that you want to note is that if you do get the rockets and there's somebody there challenging you, you're going to have to shoot the rocket at their feet, because there's not really anything to shoot at on the walls behind them or anything, as you saw right there. And you're going to want to send 2 people for the rockets no matter which team you're on, in case the first guy dies. If he neutrals, or he kills himself and kills the enemy, then you have a teammate there to pick up the rockets. And this rocket's a little wonky. I would say that if he wasn't one shot when you shot the rocket, it most likely wouldn't have killed him. But there's nothing to say against it in this commentary, because you did kill him. And the only real tip that I can give for anybody with a rocket launcher, and not just in this case, is you always want to set yourself up in a position where your rocket's almost 100% guaranteed to get a kill, because in a really competitive type match, one rocket can mean the difference between winning and losing. And in that DMR battle right there, the only thing I have to say for that is your shot lagged a little bit at the beginning of it, so you just need to slow down sometimes and make sure your reticle is over top of the enemy before you start shooting. At a longer distance, it would have hurt you more than it did right there. Not really because of the 2 bullets missed, it would have been more the bloom that would have messed with you. I like the positioning at top red, because you can see pretty much all of the map from here, but it can also be a double-edged sword because they can also see you from most of the points on the map. And in this situation right here, I probably would have thrown your nade that you had right here and killed this guy, and then challenged this guy right here that comes around the corner after he's dead. And the reason why is because when you see him come up from the right, you can't really tell if he's jumping down or if he's just going to hang out there at the balcony. And he decided to hang out at the balcony, so the safer option in my mind would have been to have thrown the nade and then clean up the kill. But it doesn't really matter because it worked out for you either way. And I'm not really sure why nobody on the blue team picked up the sniper rifle. That's one of the top priorities when you're blue, other than going for rockets, is to make sure you get that sniper. But you make the right choice with it. You picked it up and you went to the high ground, which you always want to do with a sniper rifle or even a DMR or a needle rifle. The height advantage is huge in any type of precision weapon. But the one thing that I did notice after you got that first sniper kill is that you're kind of looking around for a little while and not really seeing anybody. And the only real general tip I can give for that is when you're having a hard time finding somebody with a sniper rifle or any weapon in general, is to look at where your teammates' arrows are, where they're positioned around the map, and generally your enemy's going to be in a spot that's away from those arrows unless your teammates are in combat, and then you want to try to get an angle on where your teammate's in combat at. And the one thing that I noticed at this part of the gameplay is you picked up the rockets at 11:48 in the beginning of the gameplay, and they pretty much came up right now. And when I watched it in the free roam view, or whatever you'd like to call it, in the theater, the rockets pretty much sat there for almost 20 seconds untouched before somebody picked them up. That's not really on you, that's just a teamwork thing in general. You kind of want somebody down there about 10 or 15 seconds before they spawn, because the rockets are the big power weapon on this map and you want to always control them. And you missed a couple of sniper shots with the guy at long range, but that's not too big of a deal. The only thing I have to say for that is when they haven't spotted you yet, kind of slow your game down a little bit, focus on the headshot, and, you know, get the easy kill. And this was a nice triple right here. I have no complaints about this. And right here, I think you make the right decision in my mind. You got the guy with the no scope, but rather than trying to do something fancy to pull off a double kill, you back down rather than put yourself out in the open. In this particular situation, for me, I probably would have pulled out the DMR. If you can't really get them inside your sniper scope too quickly and you know that they've seen you, it's probably just a better idea to abandon the sniping and go straight for your DMR. And the mistake that you make right here on the balcony is that you got distracted by the guy in armor lock, and I don't think you realized that you were out in the open, and you did end up getting picked off by the enemy sniper, but that's just an awareness thing. You never want to put yourself at the top balcony. That's why I said earlier that it's like a double-edged sword. You can see most of the map, but most of the map can also see you. It would have been better if you dropped down and just waited for the armor lock guy, but you know, it's not going to be too detrimental to your gameplay. Just next time, if that ever happens, you want to drop down, and that way you have more cover. Assisting off of your teammates right here, so I can only assume you guys were using callouts for this guy that was back here. And that's one thing you do pretty well consistently throughout the whole gameplay, is working with your teammates. Except for one little gripe that I have towards the end, but we'll get to that. There's not really much you could have done right there for your teammates where they got picked off by the sniper. You pretty much did all you could right there by picking up the guy with the jetpack and putting him down. And that was a nice no-scope right there too. But as far as your teammates getting sniped, there wasn't really anything you could do. And you did kill your teammate right there, but we can't really count that as a kill because it gave it to the other team. There's nice awareness right there, figuring out where he was going to go and cutting him off. And you do set up for the rockets this time, but one thing I would suggest is you were sitting there with your empty sniper rifle out. I would have sat there with the DMR, just in case somebody did come to challenge you. They're not challenging you specifically, they're kind of going over there towards your teammates. I don't think they really know that you're there. But in a general situation, you want to have a weapon that actually has ammo out in case somebody does come to challenge you, and then just switch as soon as you see it drop. Now, the one thing that I did notice right here is you're kind of trying to use the rockets outside of their element, especially like this. You were going to go for like a long-range rocket shot. You never want to do that. That would have been a time to pull out your DMR and put in shots. The rocket launcher is mainly supposed to be used in close quarters, so you really want to focus on using the rockets in those areas and not really the wide open. There is like a medium range couple shots that you take right over here that work out for you, mainly because these guys are trapped and they don't really have anywhere to go. This is the part where I said I had a gripe, and that was you picked up both power weapons, and considering you said you were playing with a team, it would have been better if you had just caught up that there was rockets or sniper over there and you could have picked whichever one you want and let a teammate have the other. Generally that's a dangerous tactic. It's very good for getting kills to have rockets and sniper, but the problem that you run into is once you run out of rockets and stuff, you kind of can get caught with your pants down. You don't really have anything to defend yourself with at like a medium range. Because if you miss with the rocket at medium range, you're pretty much going to die. And there's a point at the end of the gameplay where it doesn't really matter anymore, but you do get caught with your pants down, like what I was talking about. And this was awareness right here. Very good awareness of waiting for the guy to come up before placing the rocket. And this is the part where I was talking about where you kind of get caught with your pants down. You have no sniper and no rockets, so it probably would have been the better idea to share the power weapons. And there's your final kill. Overall in this gameplay, I would probably say it's about an 8 out of 10. You're working very well with your teammates, having them assist off of you and you assisting off of them. And your positioning is pretty good. You're sticking to the high ground a lot of the time, which is generally a good idea on any map. The only thing I would say against it is that sometimes you put yourself in risky situations that you don't really need to be in. And as far as your power weapon control goes, You're doing a very good job of controlling the rocket launcher and the sniper rifle in this gameplay. The only thing that I would say is that you need to make sure you're setting up for those kind of weapons about 10 seconds ahead of time. I usually do it about 15 just to give a little more padding, because you don't really want the enemy team sneaking in there and grabbing a rocket launcher in a pinch and, turning the game around. And as far as like your shooting skills go, your DMR and your sniper is fairly good. You just need to work on steadying them a little bit more. But overall, it's a very, very solid gameplay.